Hey everybody, it's Nick, otherwise known as Nick Uncut, with another movie review, and this time we're talking about Renfield. I went to go see it about an hour ago, and again, we're recording this live on Twitch. Here's kind of my whole thoughts on it. I broke it up into pros and cons, just like I did last time, but let's get right into it. So Renfield is the Nicolas Cage Dracula movie. I don't know what other way to describe it here. It's a retelling of the Dracula story, but with an angle of like codependency. So the movie follows Renfield, Dracula's familiar, and his day-to-day life, and kind of figuring out that maybe he doesn't needs Dracula as much as he does. And that's kind of the broad strokes of it. It's an action, horror, comedy. It kind of does all three. And the movie's pretty good overall. I had a fun time with it. I'm not going to go out and say it's great. Let's just get into the pros and cons immediately. Pro number one, Nicolas Cage is so good in this movie, it's not even funny. If you guys ever read about him, one of the roles he's always wanted to play has been Count Dracula. And it's spot on. He has so much fun with it. He is literally and figuratively chewing the scenery. He is the reason to go see this movie. If you have no interest in Nicolas Cage doing Dracula, I don't know what you're hoping for here. But I went in as a big Nicolas Cage fan and I was not disappointed. He is not in the entirety of the movie. They use him pretty effectively, but he's great, and that's probably the biggest pro. Nicolas Cage is unbelievable as Count Dracula. The other thing, this movie has a lot of gore, man. It is like, there are like arms getting ripped off, people's heads getting smashed inward. It is ridiculous the amount of like actual violent gore there is in this. If you're a little squeamish, you should be fine. I had a great time with this movie. The gore is insane. The action's all right. It's good enough for what they're trying to do there. The next pro, it's a lot of fun. When the movie is operating at 100%, with Nicolas Cage giving this great Dracula performance, the action's kicked up, it's great. I smiled and laughed quite a bit during it. The movie doesn't take itself too seriously. This is not a groundbreaking vampire movie. You came here to see Nicolas Cage Dracula, and you got it. And it's great. Let's get into some of the cons of it, and some of these are going to be pros and cons. Starting with the pros and cons here, the actors are a little hit or miss besides Nicolas Cage. So Nicholas Hoult is our lead as Renfield, and he's good. He plays the role exactly how you'd want to. I think he's fun, he's charming, he plays the role just right. Awkwafina is also in this, and she's pretty good. If you don't like her shtick, her style of comedy, this is not going to win you over at all. This is Awkwafina doing her normal routine, and for me, it works. I think she's a lot of fun in this. Everybody else in this movie, though, man, I don't know. I didn't care for it. Ben Schwartz, I'm always hit or miss on him, and this kind of felt like a pretty big miss for me. I really don't know. Let's get into just the cons of it. The story's just kind of meh. There's nothing new about it. It's very short, so kind of the act structure feels really wonky at times. The first act of this movie is awesome. When they are going full supernatural, ridiculous, it's awesome. It is cool. But the issue is that the second act of this movie really drags. The story itself isn't great, so you're kind of starting to rely on the jokes. So the next con is the jokes are really hit or miss on this movie. Sometimes they're great. There's an opening joke in there that's kind of reflecting on the original Bela Lugosi Dracula, and it's one of the funniest bits. I laughed out loud in the theater. Other jokes, again, it's the Awkwafina humor style, or some jokes that just don't, they didn't land for me super well. To kind of wrap things up, it doesn't take advantage of the full supernatural story that they're telling. It's Dracula, there's blood, there's bats. I mean, when the movie leans into it, it's awesome. It is cool. When it doesn't, it's kind of focusing more on the real world. It's fine, I guess. To kind of give my final thoughts on it, Renfield is a lot of fun. If you want to see Nicolas Cage Dracula and watch him just savor every single line that he's saying, he has just a smirk to him, this confidence. He is so much fun in this. He is the reason to go see this. If you're looking for something brand new, not really. If I had to sum it up, come for the Cage, stay for the gore. And again, it doesn't take itself too seriously. This movie is not that long either. It kind of knows when to wrap things up here. Renfield, good, not great, but like, I had a fun time with it. And if any of those things sound interesting, go see this movie. I would probably recommend this one if you like Nicolas Cage. So again, my name is Nick, otherwise known as Nick Uncut. I do movie reviews here on YouTube, but I appreciate your time, and let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments if you have already seen it.